basically we have used frugal innovation, technology, to processes to scale up this program. Technology and innovation can be used to solve a social problem. In Akshay Patra, the mindset is we don't consider failure or success. We look at it from a learning opportunity perspective. So I feel every challenge can be converted into an opportunity, and that's what a social entrepreneur should be looking at.
Hello friends, today we have with us CEO of Akshay Patra Foundation, Mr. Shridhar Venkat. As you all might be aware that Akshay Patra Foundation is one of the world's biggest midday meal scheme, and they are currently serving more than 18 lakh students on each school day across 20,000 plus institutions. Akshay Patra Foundation is one of the best examples of social venture, not only in India, but across the globe. So today, to know more about this foundation and this leadership, I am very thankful to Shridhar sir for sparing time. So Shridhar sir, welcome to the discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Jere. Thank you for having me in the discussion.
So sir, how this entire scheme was conceptualized and how it is different from the other organizations which are also serving in similar area or which are also doing midday meals, sir?
So this scheme has a divine connect, Dr. Jere. It was in the year sometime in 1970s, one of India's foremost spiritual masters, Swami Srila Prabhupada, had built a Krishna temple. This was in a place called Mayapur near Kolkata, and he had built a huge temple. And typically in India, when temples are built, feast is served. So feast was served for people who came on plankton leaf, and people had a nice feast, sumptuous feast, and Swami Prabhupada was resting in his apartment after the feast, and he heard cries of children. When he opened the apartment window, he found children fighting with stray dogs for the leftover scrap of food. And he said, today we have invited a Supreme Father to this place. When the Father is there, no one should go hungry, especially children. And he gave a mandate that in a 10-mile radius of the centers which he builds, no one should go hungry. So that was a visionary seed of Akshay Patra, and he started a program called Food for Life at that time. It became very big across the globe, and 30 years later this bore fruit in the form of a secular foundation started by Swami Madhu Pandit Dasa from ISKCON Bangalore, Mr. Mohandas Pai, who was the then CFO of Infosys, Swami Chanchalapati Dasa and their friends, and then it started very small with 5 schools and 1,500 children, and today we feed over 1.8 million children in over 20,000 schools across the country, 12 states and 2 union territories. This makes us the world's largest school meal program by a not-for-profit. That was your first question. Second, what makes us different? First of all, I respect all the organizations who are in this field because they are doing good work, they're wanting to do good work, wanting to do, end hunger. So 2 things I want to share about Akshay Patra is scale. So what we have done, basically we have used frugal innovation, technology, to processes to scale up this program. Because in India, if you have to solve any problem, you need to solve it at scale. So that's one distinguishing factor. Second is, one reason for scaling up is remaining focused on what we are doing. So 7,300 of us, all of us get together in the morning with one focus, that no child in India will be deprived of education because of hunger. So focus is another distinguishing factor. Third is frugal innovation. For example, we were predominantly a south-based not-for-profit. When we went to North Indian children don't eat rice every day. So we had to innovate a roti making machine. We started just with 10,000 rotis per hour. Then we made 40,000 rotis per hour. Today we have a machine which can make 60,000 rotis per hour.
I was actually going to ask you same, sir. What were the technology innovations and process innovations? Because as Chief Innovation Officer, for
Yes.
me, this is of great interest. The scale and sustainability of that scale, is very,
Sure.
very critical. So,
Yeah.
sir, yeah, continue, sir.
So as far as innovations go, Akshay Patra, if I were to describe as a person, Akshay Patra is a person whose mind is of a corporate and heart of a not-for-profit. Okay? So I would like to tell all the students who are listening to this program, if you want to get into the social sector, look from this mindset. So from an innovation perspective, we predominantly were a rice-based kitchen concept. Today we have 52 kitchens, but initially all our kitchens were rice-based, where we used simple innovations like how do you cook rice for 100,000 students? So we took boilers, we took industrial steam boilers which generate about 2 tons of steam per hour and use that steam to cook rice, to cook dal, to cook sambar. Okay, so that was one of the innovations. Akshay Patra also inaugurated India's first centralized kitchen infrastructure. How in a social sector, so you have large food factories across the globe, can we use the same concepts for solving a social problem? So that is another innovation Akshay Patra did. Third one is frugality in innovation. For example, when we went to north of India, North Indian children do not eat rice every day. Now, how do you make, let's take 400,000 rotis in 6 hours? Okay. So our chairman worked with Sardar in Punjab along with a few of the missionaries and professionals, and we created a machine which can make 10,000 rotis per hour. Okay. And we invested 30% more and created a machine which can make 40,000 rotis per hour. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is technology and innovation can be used to solve a social problem. Okay? And hot, nice, fluffy rotis come out. Then if you look from a current context, we have an ERP implemented across the organization. So you have project management, quality, innovation, we have operations, all these things are integrated on a common platform that is enterprise resource planning. So typically what is nice and well thought of in a corporate sector, those things were applied in Akshay Patra from an innovation lens. Okay. Then sometime back we conducted a pilot with Accenture called the Million Meals Project, where we automated our kitchens with few small things. I would say smart things, not small things. One is we use Internet of Things, we use blockchain, okay? We use sensors to ensure that the cooking of food is on time, consumes the right amount of energy. That was at the cooking level. Second is when the food gets delivered, the delivery was automated in terms of from a delivery tracking perspective. Then we were collecting data by using beacons in the schools, okay, with the help of handheld sensors. And this helped us save cost or resources for 1 million meals. Wow. In Akshay Patra. That's the power of innovation, I would say.
So if you have to put it in percentage, sir, so about 30%, 40% savings you're talking about?
So for example, I'll tell you, if we save 1 paisa in Akshay Patra through innovation, it can serve food for 4,000 children for 1 whole year without raising any additional funds.
Wow. And so there must be a lot of process innovations also. These are the technology innovations where you build robots, you build roti makers, you converted boilers for cooking rice. So any process innovations, especially distribution channels, feedback channels, whether any of those things were also done?
Let me tell you a few things that stand out. When we wanted to go to, let's take remote rural areas, right? We were predominantly a central kitchen operation. Now, when we went to a place like Baran in Rajasthan, this is a remote area, connectivity was bad. we innovated a new process called the decentralized kitchens, which of course is there in the government, but Akshay Patra adapted it and modified it, and decentralized kitchen operations came in. That is one thing which I want to share it with you. Second is, many of the good process innovations that are there in food industry are implemented in Akshay Patra. One of the things which we implemented, which probably is not there in many places, is we built a 3-tier kitchen model. Okay. So the washing and cooking of rice happens on the topmost floor, washing of the rice. Then the cooking happens on the second floor, third floor, second floor, and then the first floor where finally the food gets prepared and gets delivered. So the gravity was used when it comes to process, because we handle huge amount of grains every day in Akshay Patra. As of today, we handle 400 tons of food raw materials every day in Akshay Patra. So these are some of the innovations we have done. There's a long list. Due to paucity of time, I thought of telling you a few.
And sir, how is the quality maintained? So quality assurance, sir, what are again innovations there, or what are the processes which are followed to ensure that what a kid gets in Rajasthan is equally good to a kid getting something in Odisha or in Tamil Nadu, sir?
Yeah. So we have a highly motivated and educated quality team led by a chief quality officer, and every kitchen operation, what we call the heart of Akshay Patra, has got up to 2 quality officers. So one is the right kind of people. Second is processes. So Akshay Patra kitchens are ISO certified, they are HACCP certified, and few of the kitchens are also OSHA certified. Okay. So, nobody told us to do all this. So every time Akshay Patra raises its bar on its own. So we also follow the good manufacturing practices, and every few years we improve and make this checklist stringent. So keep raising the bar year after year.
So, sir, when you talk about ISO certification, other certifications, sir, it's eventually is going to add cost, administrative cost, management cost. So then, sir, how you maintain that portion? And because you said only 8 to 10% of your cost goes as part 8%. Of administrative, 8% administrative cost. So, sir,
gives us 92 goes to the program. 8 is my overhead cost.
Sir, when we are talking about such high scale, such high innovations, there must be a lot of trials and errors which you might have done. There must be a lot of failures also which might have happened, sir. So as Chief Innovation Officer, one of my mandate is to also promote amongst our youngsters that they should need to celebrate failures. They should need to appreciate failures. The reason is, unless and until we start appreciating and celebrating failures, there will not be any stigma associated with the failures, and then people will try more things. People will be not very risk averse. They will try taking more risk. So, sir, when you are going through your journey of 20 years of this Akshay Patra Foundation, and I think you are associated with the Akshay Patra Foundation for last 16 to 18 years or so. So, sir, what were the failures of Akshay Patra, and what were the learnings from those failures in scaling up or in processes? And
at a philosophical or a conceptual level, in Akshay Patra, the mindset is we don't consider failure or success. We look at it from a learning opportunity perspective. In fact, I was listening to a 5-star general sometime back, and he was telling us that failure is a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Unless you fail, you do not know what is success.
Exactly. Right?
Like, for example, you cannot have only sweets on a plate and eat it every day, right? You need to have hot, pungent items to compare what a sweet is, right? So there were many instances where we have faced challenges. We have, not succeeded in those sometimes. But one thing that Akshay Patra ensured is failure doesn't become a hindrance for us to scale up, for us to reach out. So I think it is the missionary mindset that Akshay Patra has in terms of not calling it quits. That is very, very important. The attitude with which you deal with uncertainties, deal with so-called failures, though I call them learning opportunities, is very, very important.
So, sir, can you would like to share a few examples, sir?
So, from an example perspective, you see, as I was telling you, when we went to north of India, when we went to Vrindavan in Mathura district, as I told you, we were producing large amount of rice-based preparations in south because we were a south-based not-for-profit. Now, when we went to Vrindavan, the children of Uttar Pradesh eat wheat, right? They eat rotis. Now, how do you prepare 400,000 rotis? So initially, they were using rolling pins. We were having women employed, rolling pins were used, and the whole place was getting very hot. Women were finding it very difficult. So this was a big challenge. And that's when we innovated the roti making machine. So I feel every challenge can be converted into an opportunity, and that's what a social entrepreneur should be looking at whenever he addresses such challenges. Take the bull by the horn.
Yeah, what you said is right, sir. So, sir, our viewers are large number of students, especially from technical institutions, sir.
Yeah.
And listening to you is extremely a motivational experience. So they will be also thinking that how they can contribute in terms of technology or in terms of gadgets. So to the Akshay Patra Foundation. So, sir, whether there is any methodology of actually them contributing to Akshay Patra Foundation?
Not only to Akshay Patra, I think, of course, anyone who is passionate about what we are doing, because if you look at the world, hunger is one of the most important problems. Even the United Nations has defined that in the Sustainable Development Goals. So any youngster, any young engineering student who, and they are welcome to intern with us, okay? They are welcome to volunteer with us, come and look at what we do. And many of these youngsters today are brilliant. They come up with out-of-box solutions. So as I mentioned to you, if you're able to save a penny in Akshay Patra in terms of cost of meal with the inputs these youngsters give, we can feed 4,000 more children without raising further resources. So these youngsters definitely can come and visit us. We'll be glad to showcase what we do. We are present in 12 states, 52 locations, and 2 union territories. So we'll be very happy to welcome these technical institutions and students who want to come and see what we do and contribute to this process.
So, sir, as you said, you are present in about 12 states. It means you are also not present in a few other states, right?
Yes.
So, if for example, you may not be present in somewhere like Gujarat, or I don't know which states. I have not gone through the list of 12 states, to be very honest with you. So, sir, if students or youngsters from those states where your presence is not there, sir, if they want to actually start decentralized kitchen under the banner of Akshay Patra, so whether that is feasible and whether you will entertain such requests, sir.
So, so basically, you're talking of incubating a new initiative like Akshay Patra.
Yes, right? No, under the banner or under the aegis of Akshay Patra.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll be very glad if a youngster comes forward and see what happens, Dr. Jere, when we start a kitchen in a particular place, right? The child comes with the hope that he'll get a good, hot, nutritious, safe meal.
Very true.
As long as the youngster who is wanting to start Akshay Patra in his place, okay, is aware of the ethos of Akshay Patra, number one, follows the processes and systems, okay, we will be happy to take him in our fold. In Akshay Patra, we do not outsource the meal production, right? But if the youngster wants to join us as a manager of a factory or a kitchen, or any of the initiatives which we take, and we find him to be fit in terms of attitude and skill, definitely we'll be happy to explore this. Other than that, you spoke about innovations and many areas that we worked on. There is no patent in Akshay Patra. Anybody is free to come and learn what we do and take it forward, and we'll be happy to help that youngster in doing it in his area.
So, sir, Akshay Patra has so many kitchens across the country, and it's feeding so many lakhs of students. So, what are the investments which you have made, capex especially, to ensure to build these kitchens? And whether the model is completely based on donations or there is
Yes.
some revenue generation also happening, sir?
So Dr. Jere, we are a public-private partnership. Uh, the capital for setting up of the kitchen is raised fully by us. The running expenditure, about 60% is raised by us, 40% is given by the government, the union government and the state government in the form of grain subsidy and cash subsidy. And we are very thankful to Union MHRD and all their officials and the various state governments for being very, very supportive of Akshay Patra. We are what we are today. We have scaled up because of the support from the government. So when it comes to investment, typically a kitchen, which is, let's take a 100,000 capacity kitchen, it will cost anywhere in the range of 18 crore rupees to 20 crore rupees. Okay? These are semi-automated kitchens. Okay? This is a 1 lakh kitchen I'm talking about. Typically a 25,000 capacity kitchen may cost in the range of 8 to 10 crores, depends on location to location because ground conditions vary. And we are also working on smaller kitchens of Akshay Patra, which have capacity to make about 10,000 meals a day in one shift. Those cost about 3.5 to 4 crores. And these are raised, since you asked about fundraising, these are raised from public sectors, trusts and foundations. We also have so public sectors, trusts and foundations, corporates. They've all been very, very supportive of Akshay Patra. And we also have offices in US and UK, where both put together about 20% of the funds which we need are raised in US and UK. And we have a fantastic team in India, US and UK.
So how big is your team, sir? And where you see the opportunity for growth for Akshay Patra in future, sir? Means what are your plans for next 5 years?
Yes. So for us, our team size, if you look at us, is about 7,300 people across 52 locations, 12 states and 2 union territories. So
and out of this 7,000, majority will be workers, right, sir?
90% are my colleagues who work in the factory, and 10% are the ones who are supervisory staff, I would say. Okay. And the 90% are the ones who ensure day in and day out, a hot cooked nutritious meal goes to a child. We have served cumulatively so far 3 billion meals. We had earlier last year the Honorable Prime Minister coming to commemorate the 3 billionth meal of Akshay Patra. So it took us 12 years from 2000 to reach the first billion. From there, 4.5 years to reach the second billion. From there, 2 years to reach the third billion. And in all these 3 billion, there has not been a single major food safety incidents attributed to Akshay Patra directly.
Very true, sir. And sir, what are your goals for next 5 years or so?
Yes. So our aspiration, okay, is to reach out to 5 million children. That's number one. Second is the
5 million children daily. 5 million children daily. So currently you are 1.8 to 5 million you want to do.
That's our aspiration. And we need all the support of all the governments which we work, donors, corporates, individuals to reach this space. But more than this aspiration of 5 million, what we are working on is how do we create a sustainable model? How can we multiply and increase the community impact? That is what we are looking at in Akshay Patra. There are many opportunities that are there from a growth perspective. Operations are the opportunities are there in operations. Opportunities there in project management, fundraising. Okay, there are many opportunities that are possible. Quality, okay, IT, HR. There are many areas. But at this point of time, our biggest need is how do we sustainably grow Akshay Patra. So any person who is very good at fundraising, concept selling, someone who is good at optimizing cost is most welcome.
Sir, this Akshay Patra Foundation model is very indigenous. Sir, whether other countries from Southeast Asia or across the globe are approaching Akshay Patra to replicate this model, sir? in their own countries?
So while I come to your question, one important thing I want to tell you, Akshay Patra is a case study with the Harvard Business School. We are regularly visited by the Wharton Business School and many schools across the world. And why I'm mentioning this point is we are taught as a case study to many other social enterprises and not-for-profits.
Right, sir.
And we as Indians are very proud of it. Okay? So in Akshay Patra, when Nepal tragedy happened, right? Akshay Patra went there, set up, when the Nepal earthquake happened, set up a kitchen in 5 flat days and fed 1.49 million people in 3 months' time.
Wow.
Okay. And we have been approached by institutions in Africa, in Bangladesh, etc., Bhutan, and we are very happy to share our model and take this forward, actually.
So do you see, sir, opportunity working with agencies like UNICEF or WHO or UN?
Definitely, yes. So we do, and we are also signatory to the Zero Hunger Challenge of the United Nations. So we'll be very happy and glad to work with these prestigious institutions. Actually.
So, sir, let's close down on this very positive note, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jere. Thank you for interacting.